So I have this old router bit set from Craftsman that I bought many decades ago, and it was kind of a nice set. It had some fixed router bits. I think these all came with this kit, but the main thing it had was a bunch of different radius bits, and they were set up on this shank. So you had a 1/4-inch shank. There was like a hex nut, looks like it was brazed or welded on there, and then the bottom was threaded, and you could thread that into the roundover bit. But you can see the shank ended up stripping because the router bits, of course, are hardened steel, and I think the threads here just gave up. And then I guess the idea was there were different ends you could put on there, and yeah, there was even a thicker end, so you could do like flush cutting, cut up to the edge. But anyway, I was trying to see if I could find a replacement for this, and I looked all over and nobody sold a 1/4-inch mandrel or whatever you want to call this. And I checked the threads, and it turns out it's 1/4-inch, of course, for the router, and then it's 28 threads per inch. So what I did was pick up a box of high-strength Allen bolts here. I got the partially threaded, so that way I got a 1/4-inch smooth shank to go into the router chuck, and then got some grade 8 hardened nuts, so that way I can kind of jam that nut up on the end of the thread, and then this can screw on there. And I figure these being 170,000 psi alloy steel, the threads should probably hold up better on these. What I actually use these for a lot, which is probably why that happened, is I use these in my milling machine for roundovers, sort of round over the corner on something. I only use that on aluminum. Yeah, let me show you one of those pieces that I've done. Yeah, here's an example of one of the parts I've machined with a bit like this. I don't know if that's the same. No, it's not that bit. It's one of the other radius. Yeah, I find for aluminum these router bits work fine. It's just that they ended up stripping out the threads on the mandrel here. Okay, and that's how I made the mandrel for the router bit there. I just took one of these 2-inch Allen head screws, and then I shaved off the outside of the head, so I still have the hex in there. Trimmed this down to the 1/4-inch, so that way I get the extra length here, so I can chuck it up in the router or in the milling machine in a 1/4-inch R8, call it. And then while I was at it, I just put some extra screws in there, so I have more if I bend this one at some point, and then I'll just shave off the head of the bolt, and I got another one, and then I just cut it to length. So you can see here, I've cut off, probably that much. What I might do if I need to, I can always take one of these and cut it down even shorter, and then I can use like one of these. Yeah, so like this one here, you can screw in that solid bearing end, and then you can screw this one in, but it only goes in so far. So I'd have to cut off like that much thread so that there's room. I think I've used this like one time, and then I ended up buying a bearing end router bit. These tended to burn the wood when you were using them a lot. Yeah, pretty easy to repair, and now I've got a good as new router bit set from the 80s. Hope you found that helpful. As always, thanks for watching.